All right, our man Jack, how we doing tonight?
Doing well. How about y'all?
Man, we are absolutely blessed. Another great guest, get to talk baseball. So, for Randy watching the Grizzlies right now, they're smoking the Lakers. So we're in good spirits around here. But we want to get your story tonight. But before we do that, man, we always break the ice. Find out a few things about you. And so, first thing, man, what song right now is your favorite? Like, if you were to go to your playlist, put some on. What's the song that's hidden?
I'm gonna go "Simple Song" by Chris Stapleton. Been listening to that one a lot.
Randy speaking to you, man, with the Chris Stapleton.
I love it, man. I was listening to him today on the ride home. Needed to get my mind right.
There we go.
So I got to ask you, being that you're an Ole Miss guy and all the controversy, swirling, did you go to one of the Morgan Wallen concerts?
I did. I went to the Sunday one.
Oh, so there we go.
Wow.
I was hoping you'd tell me Saturday, and you tell me you got the amazing experience. So, Jack, are you? I know you got to be heartbroken, but are you mad?
Honestly, I thought it was kind of funny. I mean, he got all those people in there, and then last minute just dipped out of there. I mean, that takes some balls.
Well, let me ask you this, because when I left, I went to the LSU Ole Miss baseball game. When you left, or when I left there, like the line and everything in the crowd, you guys. So I know you had to like rush to get over there, right? Like by the time you got cleaned up and everything, like
Yeah, a couple of us guys like brought our clothes to the field and just were able to walk because it's not far, so we didn't have to go through any of that traffic. So it wasn't too much of a rush, but we had to get over there pretty quick.
yeah, trying to get out of that traffic. Look, I was confused because I only know two ways home, and both ways were blocked
Right.
by the cops. And I had to stop and ask the cop. I was like, "Hey, man, I'm trying to get back to South Haven. Can you tell me?" And he was like, "Yeah, go here, 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 and here." I was like, "It was like MapQuest, like back in the day,
Yeah.
like writing down directions." So I was like, "All right, I'm just trying to get out of here."
Um,
But yeah. So favorite baseball movie?
oh, I'll go Major League.
Solid. It's a shame
Solid.
Daniel isn't here. That is his favorite.
Yeah.
All right. And it doesn't matter if it's growing up now, whenever. Who's your favorite athlete all time?
Oh, all time. I'll go recent guy. I'll go Jacob DeGrom.
Solid.
Not bad. That's a couple of solid starts to it. So for Jack, that those that don't know, I mean, who wouldn't know? Where are you from, man?
Collierville, Tennessee, right outside of Memphis.
And then for those that don't know, that's where all the rich people live in Shelby County. So no, just kidding. So look, let's talk about it. Family dynamics. I mean, mom, dad, brother, sister. You got siblings, man?
Yeah, got one older brother. He's 23 or 24 now. Went to University of Alabama. He's in wine sales now.
Wine sales. The
Yeah,
Catalina wine mixer.
he loves it.
So listen, man, obviously growing up in the same area that Jim and I and DB grew up in, the Memphis area, we know how early baseball kind of starts around here. I got a 4-year-old. He's already playing T-ball. When did you start playing baseball?
Yeah, I was probably around the same age, 3 or 4. Just whenever my parents could get me out of the house.
Let me tell you something, Jack. I got 3 kids. I got 4 kids, 3 of them playing ball, one of them in travel ball, one in coach pitch, one in T-ball. T-ball might be my absolute favorite because it's just a cluster. There's no
Yeah,
rhyme or reason. They're swinging, they're running, they're going to third. You're like, yeah, you know what? Just roll.
yeah, it's
When
best type
there's
of
not an
baseball.
expectation level either, man. You just want to go
Right.
have fun.
Not for
Yeah.
that little boy. He better hit that ball. But we were outside hitting off the tee earlier. He done figured out though, Jack, that he figured out that he hit one on accident up in the air and it went kind of far for a 4-year-old. So now he done figured out. He goes, I like that. I'm like,
Yeah, there we go.
I said, hit dinger, son. So at what age did you kind of start getting a little more serious playing travel ball?
I was 7 when I tried out for the first travel ball team, age group up.
Age group up. So obviously, travel ball around here is a big deal. There's a
Yeah.
lot of teams. So who was the first travel team you played for?
First team was the Collierville Dragons.
The Collierville Dragons.
Yeah,
Man,
it's a local team.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So speaking of Collierville Dragons, where'd you go to high school?
Collierville High School, keeping it local.
Absolutely, man. I got a lot of friends of mine that grew up in Carville and I always tell them like they're from there and they still live there. It seems that if you grew up there, you're born there, whatever it is, you don't leave. It's like they got a hold on you, man. You stay
Yeah, I
there.
know a lot of people whose parents live there.
Yeah, man. And they take it serious out there. It's a sense
Oh
of
yeah.
pride. So listen, man, let's go through a little bit of accolades here. 3-year letter winner at Carville High School under head coach Jeff. Is it Munier? How do you say his name?
Munair.
Munier. See, okay. Attended the same high school as Rebel baseball greats. Obviously, Pomeranz, Zach Kozart, current teammate, and in off the bench guest Grayson Saunier, the number 10 prospect, number 5 right-handed pitcher out of Tennessee. 2020 perfect game, all Southeast region, second team. 2018 TBCA super sophomore. 2019 All-State selection. This is where we get into the meat and the potatoes. 7.71 ERA, 86 strikeouts over 59 innings. So first question, talk to me about Collierville High School and the expectations of a historic program like that.
Yeah, it was run pretty similar to a college program, and like the way practice was run, everything was scheduled. There wasn't too much downtime to do whatever, but there was a high expectation, especially coming in as like a fairly anticipated prospect through like my freshman year in middle school. They expected a lot, and they demanded that every day in practice.
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually just watching Arlington versus Collierville last week, and I think they had just played like back-to-back days. And we were watching the middle school game on the fields, and the crowd was electric over there. They were loud, hooting and hollering. And it turns out I asked a couple parents, very, I don't know, bitter, but that's definitely a rivalry, right? Was it a rivalry when you were there?
I wouldn't say too much when I was there, but I mean, a little bit. You always want to win those games.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So listen, I read off all those accolades. Did you feel like you met your expectations, not only for yourself, but, you know, as a team over your time there?
Probably not. I think everybody went into there expecting to win a state championship, and we never got there. I think we got to the semis my sophomore year, but we never got it done.
Well, speaking of your sophomore year, what was your favorite season? Was it that year?
It was. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of seniors that year who were good dudes that I liked hanging out with.
Absolutely. So obviously we talked about the greats that also had attended, you know, Collierville as well, and that went to Ole Miss from your school. Does that have any effect on your decision in what college you picked?
No, I wouldn't say it affected my decision, but it definitely affects the way I go about things, because I don't want to be the one player from Collierville goes to Ole Miss that doesn't make it. So got to work a little harder.
No, yeah. Well, look, so far so good, right? So you talked about, if that wasn't the thing that affected your decision, why did you choose Ole Miss?
If I'm being honest, I committed first offer. Went to a camp. They offered me, I think, pitched on a Saturday. They offered me on Monday, and I committed Tuesday. Like it was quick. I went on my visit. Fell in love with the coaching staff and the facilities, and couldn't see myself anywhere else.
Yeah, no, that always seems to be a trend. I mean, a lot of guys feel that way. The school that shows the first interest, and they get rewarded for it. So I see nothing wrong with it. If a school comes after you first, that's the rewards they get for coming after you. And obviously, as Randy talked about, it seems to be the right school for you. So let's get into it, man. Freshman season, you made 12 total appearances, including 2 starts, finished with a 5.4 ERA, 2-2 record with 36 strikeouts, 7 walks. Began season as a redshirt, but emerged as one of the team's top bullpen arms. So let me ask you a question about that mentality, man. Like, you're probably one of the first guests that I think we've had that was going to be a redshirt, but then got thrown into the fire. So how does that go? Where, coach is telling you, just learn everything you can, be a part of the team, this, that, and the other. And then, hey, man, kid, you're hitting the rubber.
Yeah. I had a really rough freshman fall. Like, I got hit around bad, and it was a struggle every day to go out and throw in inter squads and face like Tim Elko, Kevin Graham, Jacob Gonzalez as a freshman. It was tough, and I kind of let that defeat me mentally. And so, like, Coach B had a meeting with me, exit meetings in the fall, and he was like, listen, I don't know what mold you're fitting into of like the pitchers we have here, but you got to figure something out. And took that time, like in the spring when they were traveling, and I was up at the facility by myself, working, throwing bullpens, videoing my mechanics, everything like that. And then live at bats, my stuff just started to tick up, got better and better. And all I wanted to do was get on that field. And when Coach B gave me a shot, it was it was just time to run from there.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's kind of cool, man. Like, because I feel like, probably what happened in the fall, even though it's in the back of your mind, it's like, I don't know, it's like a new opportunity, right? Because you weren't expecting it, and now here it is, and you can put all that behind you and get a chance to get a fresh start, even though it's, in game, in season, it's not inter squads anymore. But one of the things I like seeing is guests that we have come on. I've seen them prior to having them come on, and it goes all the way back to your freshman season. Man, in a huge game. I was just bringing it up as I was at LSU Ole Miss this past weekend, talking about that game where y'all came back from 9-1. But everybody's going to talk about the runs that were put up, but they're not going to talk about things like what you did, Jack. Man, in order for a team to come back, y'all obviously got to stop the bleeding. And for you, man, you held it down with 3 1/3 while your team mounted the comeback. What's it like? Stopping a red hot offense that helped created your offense to be able to complete that comeback?
Yeah, I remember that was my first SEC outing. So I mean, I was just nervous running in there. Like, first time I'm facing like a real opponent that's not my team. It's not a midweek game. Like, I'm facing some dudes, and I just remember being excited to be out there, and didn't really think too much about putting up zeros. I just kind of took some time to take in the moment, and just kind of pitch like myself. I didn't want to put too much pressure on it because I was already nervous. But it was a lot of fun.
Does it take some pressure off that it's 9-1, right? Like, you feel loose, like nobody's going to blame you for this game, right?
Yeah, it was especially nice without the 10-run rule.
No doubt.
So
so I know what it was like as an LSU fan, and Randy will tell you, I said I appreciated like watching the comeback as a baseball fan, and the student section was still thick in there, and so the showers on Alderman's walk off were legit. And so I said, as a fan, I hate it, like, as an LSU fan, but as a baseball fan, I said I loved it, man. Seeing a team like the resiliency to come back from 9-1, and then the showers on a walk off, like that's what Swayze's all about.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
So, man, continuing with that year, you get amazing opportunities. Talking about the way you did, like, I didn't know that you had that bad fall. That's obviously not something that's scripted in there, and you see what you continue to do. So you allowed 1 earned run in 3 innings to earn your second career win in the Oxford Regional against Southeast Missouri. Talk to me about what it was like to pitch in front of that crowd, man, in the regional at Swayze. Because I see Swayze on a regular basis. I haven't been there for a postseason game, so talk to me about it.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a different ballpark. It's unbelievable. There's not a chair back that's not filled, and those fans are going crazy. So to pitch in that opener after Derek was super cool. I mean, that place was so loud. After Tim hit a grand slam in like the second or third inning, that place erupted, and it didn't stop till the end of the game.
He's getting a statue for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, unbelievable.
Yeah, but while we talk about the hitters on those teams, man, you got to learn a couple of the guys that are guests on the show. You got to learn from guys like Doug and Gunner and Taylor. Doug and Taylor have both been on the show multiple times. But, man, talk to me about, as a freshman, getting to learn from dudes like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say those two people played the biggest role in me, like, turning it around after my bad fall my freshman year. I got to talk to Doug a lot in the outfield, and just kind of pick his brain. Like, he was so smart about pitching and kind of had his mentality down and was able to articulate that. So when I kind of figured that out, I wouldn't leave his side. I'm sure it was a little annoying, but I asked him so many questions, tried to figure it out. And then Taylor was actually big for me fixing up my mechanics a little bit. Like, I would sit there and watch videos of him pitching and ask him cues he had. And just those two guys were monumental in me kind of turning around that season.
Man, I text Taylor the other day and asked if I get to write his book if he makes it to the show. My man's in AAA. He came on here and said he didn't have one single college offer. Already had moved into Texas State for academics, and then ends up going to Tyler College because his dad tells him to try out, and now the guy's in AAA. Taylor Broadway's a story within itself.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
But so moving to sophomore year, obviously we know how that year ended. No need to talk about it. Obviously, let's get to the good season where it ends well. So, sophomore year appeared in 17 games, making 4 starts and 13 relief appearances. Finished fourth on the team in strikeouts with 61, posted a record of 4-3 with a 4.91 ERA, 61 strikeouts over 44 innings of work. Let's cut right to it, man. When I looked at this, when we talk about don't let the Rebs get hot, you went 5 consecutive outings from May 6th to June 22nd where you did not allow a run. That is,
Is that good?
Yeah. When you're talking about SEC play, when you're talking about postseason play, to go a whole month, and some, and pitch the games that you did and not allow run. Talk to me about getting in that groove and just being able to, every time you toe the rubber, have that kind of confidence. Because I know you had to be feeling like, not invincible, so to speak, but man, you got your stuff.
Yeah, when at that point in the season, when we started to turn things around, I think everybody felt a little invincible, like just playing with so much confidence. But I think the biggest part in me not giving up a run was Mason Nichols. He came in, I think, probably 3 of those outings when I had like bases loaded and 1 out and punched out 2 guys and saved all those runs. So I will not talk about that without giving him credit.
Yeah, no doubt. And that was the whole thing. The whole team came together, and he was definitely clutch. I know exactly the outings you were talking about, and I watched him going all the way back to high school. I knew y'all were getting a stud when I watched him at Jackson Prep. So when you were pitching and having success, what do you feel like was, one of my favorite things is breaking down a pitcher. What was like your pitch that you just felt like was working the best for you through that span?
Through and through, it's always been my fastball. I rely on that more than anything.
Yeah, no doubt. Locating it, putting it right where you want it, owning the batter, no doubt. So you have a win against Arizona at Coral Gables, a save against Southern Miss in Hattiesburg, 2 scoreless against Arkansas and Omaha, and then earn the win with 5 innings and 6 strikeouts in Game 1 of the College World Series Finals against Oklahoma. It's one thing to be a national champion, but it's another thing to be an intricate part of everything that took place. So I got 2 questions. What was it like being a part of that group of guys that came together when everybody doubted y'all, first of all?
Yeah, that was the coolest part was kind of being able to prove everyone wrong. That whole year, all we heard about was how we were the number 1 ranked team and then blew it. Like we weren't amounting to anything. The whole fire Coach B stuff, we just all hated it. We couldn't stand to hear that because we all respected Coach B and knew how good he was at coaching and leading us. And so to be able to like all come together and just start playing our best baseball was one of the coolest experiences of my life.
Yeah. So the second part of that question is, and I like to ask a lot of your teammates from that team, has the feeling worn off? I know you're in a new season. Like some of the guys I've talked to, we've had on here, they're in the minors now. Some of them still at Ole Miss, like but has that feeling wore off yet? Because it's still less than a year from when you hoisted that trophy.
Yeah, it's definitely worn off in a sense that like you got to get back to work. Like you can't hold on to that forever. You're not going to get anywhere. But it's still cool to sit back and like if you see your ring lying around or like see an old picture, like it's cool to reminisce still.
Wait. You just got like the ring just like laying around?
Yeah.
Man, I'd have that thing like in a treasure chest.
I got to keep it close.
I'd be flexing it. Jack, I'm glad we brought that up. Randy, Daniel and me have had a soapbox for a while now. When my son got his first ring for winning a rec championship in baseball, it bugged me so bad. And the reason is because the very foundation of what we're talking about, Jack. You see these kids, these parents are posting pictures, and I'm not trying to take away. And if I stir up the listeners, so be it. But like you can win a ring now on a weekend tournament or in a rec league. Rings are supposed to be when you bring it home, state championships, national championships, and so now these kids running around with as much bling as Tom Brady.
Man, my daughter has a lot of rings, but one of them, that championship, that was for a state though.
Yeah, and those are usually what it always was, right, Randy? It was like most guys we knew that had those. That was the ultimate flex.
I don't know because I never got one. We didn't. I got a ribbon.
Hey, I love those ribbons, baby. 7th place. Let's go.
Let's go.
So, how hard is it, man, coming into this season? We talked about the guys from your freshman year, but then sophomore year, man, the list is so thick. I'm not even going to run through it, but, obviously starting off the top with Randy talking about Elko, but man, so many guys leave. Just how hard is it for you, like when you've built that chemistry to be able to move on to the next season? We talk about moving on from a championship, but moving on from a locker room that just had veteran leadership everywhere.
Yeah, honestly, it was a lot easier than you'd think. Because I mean, I had the same thing. I was like, man, we're bringing in a lot of new faces. We're gonna have to show them the reins, kind of rebuild what we had last year. And credit to the new guys. They've come in and picked up right where everybody left off. I mean, I think our locker room's the best it's been since I've been here. I mean, we're always in there hanging out. People don't want to leave the field. Like, just a really tight knit group of guys.
Yeah, man, that's what's up, and that's what we love to hear. So this season, obviously, it's been up and down for you, Jack. Man, you're 2-3. You got a save in there, but you got thrown a curveball, man. It seems going all the way back to your freshman season, you went from red shirting to next thing you know, you're in the fire. You went from getting a save opening weekend and probably going to be the closing guy to Hunter Elliott getting hurt, and next thing you know, you're the Friday night guy. So like, what's that like, that mindset like, being all of a sudden, you're the Friday night guy? Like, obviously you've pitched in the biggest of stages and the biggest of moments. And so that's not anything for you, but it wasn't something that you necessarily had planned for. So like, did it throw you at all that all of a sudden, hey man, I'm the Friday night guy going in the second weekend?
I would say the biggest adjustment was more physical than mental. I mean, I had been kind of thinking I'm a bullpen guy, like go out there, throw as hard as I can until I run out of gas. And then to go out there and be told I'm starting, it's more of a, like, you got to make pitches. It's all right to get early contact. You're not going for strikeouts all the time. It was more physical than it was mental, but I mean, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, and that's a common thing that we get told on here. The physical difference is for me and Randy, we always thought it was a psychological thing coming from a starter to a closer or vice versa. But yeah, it's always talked about the physical, because like you said, you can't just go out there. You got to throw for 1 or 2 innings. You can just go max balls to the wall, right? But you can't do that. You're going out there on Friday night unless you're Kevin Kopps, right, Randy?
It's for big facts. That guy was a machine. Rubber arm.
It was unreal.
So, the Rebels are currently down right now, but y'all been here before, man. Y'all were just there last year. So, a lot of talent on this team. What y'all got to do starting this weekend with Georgia, man, to get the ship going in the right direction?
I mean, honestly, it's feels like it's all starting to click. Like we've been pitching it well some games, and then we'll swing it well other games. It's not like one facet of the game is just bringing us down. So, but that's how it felt last year. It was like we'd lose a weekend, we'd win Friday 1-0, and then we'd lose the next 2. But we could never really put it together. And that's kind of how it feels this year. Like, we're not playing that bad of baseball. It's just nothing's clicking right now. Like, we're not doing everything at the same time. But I think if we can start to do that and go on a run, good things can happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't let the Rebs get hot.
Yeah.
There you go.
And so with that, man, I'll let Randy play a game, but want to wish you best of luck, the rest of the way. And, for those that are doubting y'all, man, stay tuned, because the Rebs have done this before.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, before we get into that, though, something you talked about, everything clicking. It's just that, like, it's so damn hard in the SEC, Jack. I mean, it's like there's no nights off.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. But that's the thing. If you're talented enough and things click, you can beat anybody.
Well, Randy, you can relate right now to, going back to last year, they clicked. Remember, I was in Baton Rouge when they decided to just kick our tail.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Tennessee just did that with Vandy. Randy's a Tennessee fan, and as well as I do, that could be the turning point for y'all, Randy. Y'all could turn it around off of that.
It's so crazy. You think about it, Jack. Obviously, you play this, right? Tennessee goes in their last strike, ties the game against Vandy, and then for the next 2 days just beats the brakes off of them. So sometimes it just takes a moment. You guys experienced it, went on the run of your lives. Even the year before that, Mississippi State kind of had that same feeling. They were okay doing a little thing, and then you just got to get in, right? All this top seed and hosting and all that other garbage. I'm not worried about all that no more.
Right.
Be the last team in, Jack. That's all you got to be.
That's my favorite part, Jack. We do our rankings, and everybody says I'm biased because I got LSU at 1. I'm like, I don't even want number 1. As long as it's a top 8 national seed, we can host. I don't care nothing about that number 1 ranking. As a matter of fact, it's a curse anyway.
You just got to be the last team in. Takes all the pressure off.
That's it. So listen, Jack, before we get you out of here, we're going to play a little game. The game is called This or That. The only rules are you can't say neither and you can't say both, man. You down?
All right.
All right, we're gonna, start you off with a little easy one. Would you rather have the ability to teleport or have a time machine?
I'm gonna go teleport
Where would you teleport to, Jack?
wherever I want.
Yeah, not a lot. I guess, for all the people that were leaving Morgan Wallen that didn't live on campus, they would have liked to teleport back to the
There you
crib.
go. It's convenient.
Absolutely. All right, you can only pick one mode of transportation. Are you picking a donkey or a giraffe?
I'm gonna go giraffe for sure. Better views.
I think so too. But how do you get on the giraffe?
I mean, if that's the only thing I got, I'll find a way. Ladder? I don't know.
A ladder, or at the zoo they got the little thing that you can stand up. Maybe I got to get on that.
But I like his answer in the fact that a lot of people say because it looks cool. He said for the views, and that's really actually when you think about it, because you're up high on the giraffe, you can see everything.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, that's true. Okay, all right. So the next one is let's see, throw harder. What does that say?
Throw harder than any pitcher in baseball.
Throw harder than any pitcher in baseball, or have the ability to fly.
Ooh. I'm going to go ability to fly.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you can throw hard and be a bad pitcher, but nobody can fly.
Hey, I just threw Randy a curveball. See, that question is never framed like that. It's either be the strongest person in the world or be the fastest person in the world. Since we had a pitcher on the night, I decided to flip it and throw the hardest. And that's why he went to look at that. And he was like, I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So he still said fly. I've tried to change it, Randy. Everybody still wants to fly. This question is going to have to be removed.
I'm picking flying too.
Yeah.
No doubt. All right. Would you rather be trapped in a romantic comedy movie with your enemies or a horror movie with your best friends?
I'm going to go horror movie with my best friends.
Right. You got to be with the homies, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't want to be with my enemies.
Right.
All right. If you can only pick one, but we're talking any concert or any sporting event, which one are you choosing?
I'm going to a Chris Stapleton concert for sure.
All right. Do you have a location where you'd want to see him play? Guys, I think there's a right answer here. I think Red Rocks, Chris Stapleton, my God.
Yeah.
That's bucket list stuff, man.
Yeah.
If he ever plays it, I'm sure he has, but if he plays at Red Rocks again and it's like we got your off season, I'll meet you there, Jack. I got you, man.
But on a real Chris Stapleton kick.
Don't be making no promises you can't keep, Randy.
No, I'll go there. I would rather
you wouldn't if your daughter had a weekend tournament, bro. I don't even like her. I don't even like her. So all right. Better bombs in your opinion, Tim Elko or Kemp Alderman? It's a tough one.
Ooh, that's tough. Better bombs. I'm going to go Kemp. That dude's got crazy juice.
Crazy juice. I mean, one's getting a statue. I mean, can Kemp have something? I mean, that's what I'm thinking.
I mean, he had no problem laying them on LSU this past weekend, even though it didn't go well for Ole Miss overall. Kemp didn't have any problems with us.
I mean, that dude can swing it.
That's no doubt about that. All right, man. Would you rather get attacked by a grizzly bear or get attacked by a tiger? And you're going to die either way.
Then I'm going to go grizzly bear. I think it'd be quicker.
I got the opposite. I don't know why I think this, but I think, maybe I've thought about this too much because we've asked this question a lot. I think a tiger might kill me quicker, and I might not even see it coming. A grizzly bear is going to roar at you and all that other stuff, and I think a tiger's just going to roll up, pow, I'm done.
No, I'm going to disagree there. I think a grizzly bear is going to town.
You think it's just happening, but would you see it? I don't want to see it coming, Jack. I don't want to see it coming, man. Just take me in my sleep. That's all I ask for.
Fair.
All right, man. Last question before we get you out of here. This is a staple question. Would you rather betray your best friend, talking about your homie, or go to jail for 5 years for a crime you did not commit?
I'm going to jail.
Yeah, see, Jack, I'm not. Jim here, my homie, we've been friends since we was 12 years old. But if I got a choice to rat his ass out or go to jail, holla at your boy.
And vice versa, man. It's a mutual feeling. I'm not doing any jail time. You're telling me you're gonna do 5 years hard time as opposed to cut your boy loose.
See, Jack's younger, man. I don't have that kind of time left, man. I'm about to be 40, dog. I ain't got time left.
But I mean, you get out of jail and who you gonna talk to?
New homies.
Not like the old ones.
Not the ones I met in jail. That's a fact. But you are off the hot seat with that man, Jack. is there anything you want to plug or promote, whether it's for yourself or your team or anything else in between?
Nah, I'm all good.
All right. Well, if y'all want to see what Jack is up to on, a Wednesday night, he might be doing a podcast with In Off the Bench. You can find him on IG at Jack_Dougherty2. Or if you want to see what the Rebels are doing on the diamond, check them out at Ole Miss BSB. Jack, man, it's been a pleasure. If there's anything we can do for you in the future, man, just let us know.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
All right, that's our boy JD. We're going to take a break. We'll let the sponsors do their thing, and then we're going to talk headlines.